Hey, what is up, guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today we're actually here right after the finals of EG versus IG. Actually, right now, as we speak, Game 3 is about to happen, so I actually don't know the ending as I'm making this video, but that's besides the point. It's been a great tournament, really a ton of fun, and I can't wait for the patch. Gonna be a lot of videos on that here and on the website. But today's video is going to be 5 things that pros do that you don't. You know, I read the Twitch chat. Twitch chat just seems, they're just lost. They're lost. They're like, picking on pros for doing certain things. And I'm like, that was on purpose, or that was a good thing, right? There was like, I'll give one example that's not in the video that I thought was good. This Lion in particular on IG, they picked it, they were losing, but they got a pick off. I don't remember onto what hero, but they got a pick off. They caught the guy. They surrounded, like, it was Crit's Earth Spirit. They surrounded him with 4 heroes. And so he didn't finger. Now keep in mind, he was level like 7, so he only has 1 point in finger, which means it's a 160-second cooldown, so you don't just use it casually. You don't just pump it. You don't need 40 damage of a stack and not be able to do anything for 3 minutes. That is not a good idea. And so he was holding it, right? He was holding it, and then decided to use it at the end because, frankly, they ran out of stuns. They were super far behind. They did so little damage. And so he had to use it at the end, and people were, like, questioning him. They're like, Lion finger. But it was he did exactly what you were supposed to do, right? I think he played it basically exactly how you're supposed to. And I just thought it was funny. So, yeah, that kind of inspired me to make this video of 5 things that pros do that you don't, and let's get into it. But if you're new here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we also make content that is very similar and often better than what you're gonna get here on YouTube. It's really in-depth, guys. I made tons of videos on a lot of the professional series from this major over on the website, and all you gotta do to watch those videos is click the link down below, sign up right now, and I hope to see you guys there. Alright, so the first thing I wanna get into is dying intentionally. And I'm gonna throw you guys back on a little bit of a nostalgia train. We're gonna go all the way back to TI9 Grand Finals. OG, they have Thompson on the mid lane Monkey King, and Liquid at the time, it was comprised of Kuroki, right? That was still, wait, yeah. And they had a Tidehunter. Now, if you guys recall this game, Tidehunter was absolutely feeding. I'm pretty sure people were calling mind control feed control in the chat. Everyone was going crazy just making fun of him because he was basically running down the lanes. He was doing something that you would expect from someone to do. You would associate with someone that is extremely tilted in a pub and has given up, Like the most common way to feed in Dota is to literally run down mid, and it looked like he was running down top. However, that's the only play he could make. It's the only thing he could do. Now hear me out on this, okay? Because you don't want to look at these type of plays. Everything pros do is typically intentional and has a good reasoning behind it. Yes, they make mistakes. Yes, they miss stuns, blah, blah, blah. But let me get into this. Dying intentionally. Why would mind control, when his team is stuck in their base, can't protect him, can't save him, and cannot get a return kill off his death, why would he leave the base then? Because he's going to die, right? Why would he leave the base to die? Because it doesn't matter if he dies. In that situation, he was incredibly underleveled. He had no farm. Dying, he would literally respawn in 30 to 40 seconds. He was useless. He would feed less than 300 gold. And so this is super common in Dota though. Have you ever lost a game of Dota 2? Oh, believe it or not, we all have. A huge mistake that people make is they're so afraid of dying that they never leave their base. What mind control was trying to do is delay the game by pushing in waves and baiting the enemy team towards you. You take them away from your base. You take them away from your cores. Hopefully, if Monkey King shows top, that could potentially enable whoever his carry was, I think it was like a lifestealer, to farm mid. Even though that game was so bad, so he probably even couldn't farm it. But you see what I'm saying? In pubs, if you go top and your team's losing, you can force a 3, 4, 5-man rotation and open up 2 lanes for your team. You can completely change the game by dying. And so whenever you're struggling, especially if you're a low net worth hero, you're an Abaddon or a Tide who's feeding, you're a support Abaddon or really anything of the sort. Even if you're a carry, you have to sometimes take risks to open up the map in difficult games, even in winning games. It's really funny. I know I'm really specifying this to losing games, but even in winning games, you'll often see supports like Puppy just die in the safe lane. You'll be like, why did he die alone? Why is Puppy feeding? It's because he was probably just stalling a tower, farming a creep wave, and actually, in a lot of cases with the heroes that he picks, preventing anyone else from farming that area if they come alone. That's actually really depressing. All right, let's get into number 2, as I don't want to talk too much about just dying. let's spice it up a little bit. Let's get a little bit more positive and briefly talk about picking the mid early. So in pubs, the format makes this a little bit hard. I'll be real. Makes it a little bit hard to pick your mid early. But this is something that they do. If you guys have been watching the major, you see a lot of first phase Void Spirit, a lot of first phase Puck. You'll even see some first phase Monkey Kings, first phase Troll Warlords, which aren't necessarily mids, but I can even make this more broad. Just first facing carries. Now, Captain's Mode, which is what you see in the major, right? That's the name of the game mode, is different, quite a bit different than all pick because of how things are set up. You can't necessarily get instantly counterpicked. You have bans to protect your heroes. And so there's reasons for this, right? There's reasons. But you'll also see pros do it in pubs as well. You'll see a lot of them do it for practice in pubs as well. The reason why you can do this, well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, there's a lot of mid lane heroes that just don't really do poorly. They lose almost no lane. Think about it. Who beats Death Prophet? I struggle to come up with a hero off the top of my head. I really do. I honestly don't know who beats this hero in lane. If you guys want to write in the comment section down below, feel free, because I don't know. And then you have Void Spirit, right? This hero has an E that makes him block physical damage. How do you get harassed at level 1? Physical damage. People auto-attack you. And so you pick a hero that just blocks it. And then, by the way, he has multiple nukes, so he shoves waves. 3 AoE nukes, so he can shove waves. Catch, he's one of the best gankers in the game, and he doesn't lose lane. You can imagine why they first phase this hero, because frankly, it doesn't matter if you get quote-unquote counterpicked mid. You can still roam. Well, you really shouldn't get crushed at level 1 or level 2. I don't think there's a single hero that should kill you at level 1 when you're playing Void Spirit mid. It's just not, that should never happen. And so as you see what I'm saying, there's a lot of situations where you can do this, and the biggest benefit to it is it opens up your teammates for later picks. Yeah, even supports. Think about it. If the enemy team, let's say in your pub, for whatever reason, they pick, actually not for whatever reason, they pick an opener of Shadow Shaman and Earthshaker. You could pick Clockwork. Clockwork is a hard counter to hero with channeled spells and hard counter Shaker because of his large animations. And all of a sudden you have this really good Clock 4 game and he could potentially pop off as well as roam mid to help you out. Next up at number 3, we have give supports mid. So we talked about picking mids early, but the next thing I want to talk about is giving supports the mid lane. What do I mean by this? Not literally laning supports mid. That would be questionable. What I'm trying to say, what you want to do is give them mid for level 6. Level 6 in particular. Level 6 for supports is when most of them become useful. Rubik, Ancient Apparition, Bane, a Shadow Shaman. You know, not that they can't Lion. It's not that they can't do anything without it. It's just when you hit level 6, your hero, I would argue in most situations, triples in power. It's not like you hit level 6 and it's like another skill point. No, it's like a tripling in power. A hero like AA is radically different. And so, in your pubs, if you are playing AA, or this is an example, it applies for a lot of supports, okay? Any greedy support that wants their level 6, right? Maybe having a hard time, or just wants early level 6. Let's use the AA example though. You have this AA on your team. The enemy team has an ALK, which you know you can gank. You have Void Spirit mid, you have an offlane Mars, you got this AA, but you know it might be a little bit hard without the AA blast. Or you think, you know, it's a very valuable AA blast game. Maybe they have a Morphling or a Huskar, or you just know that AA blast is a good spell. Give them mid. Give them mid. So what do you do instead? Gank top, gank bottom, jungle. You can do any of those 3 things. Now, you might be saying, what if I can't jungle and I can't gank? I'm playing, I don't know. Frankly, it's such a hard situation because usually you can do one of those, but playing Skywrath and you lost your lane and the side lane is a Jug and the off lane is a Viper who has a hood already and you can't gank. Okay, super niche scenario. Super niche scenario. I don't know. Go stack some camps. Give your support 6. Guys, you have to start this revolution, all right? They need 6. That's all I'll leave it at. Number 4 of the things that pros do that you don't is pick Faceless Void as a safe lane. So, yeah, apparently IG was just like, we're bringing it back. Game 2, just lost game 1. We have no chrono follow-up. We're bringing it back, baby. Now, to be fair, I actually really like Alk Ags with Void. I think especially if he could have gone Battle Fury, he was feeding so hard, so he really couldn't go Battle Fury, but let's say you're not feeding, you get an early Ags from Alk, and you have a Battle Fury. You can actually one-shot waves with your maxed out Q. It's really good. I actually really love the concept. You can get incredibly farmed, and it gives you a lot of stats and tankiness that your hero would typically lack. So I actually like the idea of Alk Void, and Acid with Chrono is quite valuable. It's good. You know, Concoction, you can charge Concoction when they're in Chrono. It's really easy to follow up. The Acid Spray is great. I think that combo is good. The problem was they didn't have it in good lanes, and the enemy team literally, I mean, they had an Earth Spirit, an Orchid on Storm. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like such a grief. I'll be real. I mean, I wish it kind of worked out because it would have been cool, but yeah, it just looked like a grief. And last, but certainly not least, at number 5, we have Pull. Now, I know what you're thinking. Pull, speed, really? Pull. That's what you end the video with. Number 5, which is typically what people might put as the most important thing. Yes. Yes. Now, you're going to say, oh, this only applies to position 5s. This doesn't matter to me. I'm a carry player. I'm an off-lane player. That's the problem. Go watch pro games, and you will see at certain points in time, core players will side pull at minute 15 because they don't feel comfortable approaching the wave that's far under the enemy tower. Let me really give you some context. You took the enemy safe lane tower, okay? You rotated, you made that typical rotation, you took their tower, you shoved in the lane, now it's heading towards their tier 2, you're too afraid to take it. Okay, makes sense. How do you get the lane back? What if no one's pushing it out? And it doesn't go under the tower? How do you get the lane back? How do you farm the lane creeps? Are you just not going to farm lane creeps? What do? You can pull. You can literally side pull. And this is just one example of the many examples of things that you can do. I've literally seen supports also do the contrary. Let's say they don't want the enemy team to farm a creep wave under their tier 2. They will side pull to bring the wave back as a 5. I think that one idea is incredibly, I will say criminally underrated. How good it is to drag the wave back as a support to shut down the enemy team's farm, or as a carry to enable your own farm. See what I'm saying, guys? Like, that's what's so great about Dota. Things like pulling. Even if you think you've gotten it all down, you're just not doing enough. You're not optimizing it. On top of that, in the laning stage, this is the biggest one, okay? This is the biggest one. People never pull enough. I say this all the time to my coaching students and just in videos all the time. The two main things that I notice that pros do in the lane, or top tier players do in the laning stage, that low MMR players or average MMR players don't, even divines don't most of the time, is 1, pull enough, get the wave back when they shove it in, right? Drag it back to apply pressure, drag it back to relieve pressure. What you might be noticing is that you can pull for basically any reason. But the thing is, it's that, right? And then the second one is coordination, which is not what we're focusing on here, but those are the two main ones. Do you work together in the lane? And frankly, pulling, it allows you to work together because it will make the enemy team overextend. But alright, that's where we're going to end the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and can take some of these ideas into your games. I'm going to go over them quickly one more time. Number 1, they die intentionally. You know, when the game's going tough or you think you need to take some risks to open up the map, it's okay to die. Do not fear it so much. It's not that bad. You don't lose when you die. It's really not that bad. Pick the mid early. That's number 2. 3 is give supports mid for their level 6. 4 is pick Faceless Void. And number 5 is pull. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have anything else that you think pros do that you don't, let us know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace! And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!